Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from FPL the Onion. It's episode 46 and it's myself, Shlee, and joined this week by Tom. How's it going, Tom?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Didn't have Luke Shaw this week like yourself, but that was a pretty sweet swing you've got there with your transfer, so you're pretty happy. Yeah, we were talking beforehand about the number of options we've got for this week. It's going to be a game week of lots of 50-50 calls, I think, and try and get as many of them right as possible, but there's lots of ways you can go.
Definitely. I've done some head scratching. How big a hit to take is the question for me.
Yeah, I was listening to the Wire today, and late risers on a -12 or something pretty crazy. I'm even partly tempted with my two frees to roll one of them as well. I think it's one of those where you can go in numerous ways, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, apologies for not having an episode last week. We're still in a bit of a transition from trying to make these a bit shorter, and last week just couldn't really fit it all in. But tonight should be no different. Hopefully up, trying to keep it to 20-30 minutes. But as there's a fair bit to talk about with doubles and possible blanks and other things coming up, it might be a little bit longer. Let's see how we go. So a quick look at the Onion League, and yeah, anyone listening that's not in the league, feel free to join our league. The code's on the screen there, TRLU7M. Tom, you're looking pretty happy up there in third. You had a pretty good week, spread of sort of 30 to 70 at the top. So Mark Bleakley's absolutely smashing it. He got a shout out on above average this week because he's top of that league. I think he's in the top 250 in the world. So he's absolutely killing it. He had Kane.
Wow.
Shaw he got in Gameweek 18 for James. I think did he go Kane captain? Got it here. Oh no, he went Rashford. So that was pretty differential as well. So he's having a great week, and he doesn't have Mitrovic. So yeah, well done to you, Mark, if you're listening. I'm down in fifth. I didn't move. But yeah, it's a bit of a swingy week, and obviously we still got the so we're recording on Wednesday night. Still got the Chelsea Fulham, isn't it, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Fulham Chelsea, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, 51 for yourself, Tom. How did it go? Just moves you made on the screen. You obviously did a striker transfer as well.
Yeah. Basically, had enough of Darwin. Ditched James. Yeah, the Shaw one was great. Mitrovic not so great. Probably would have rather rolled the transfer in hindsight, but wanted to go for the double, so went for it. Probably ended up +3 or something, but probably would have rather the transfer this week.
Yeah, that Mitrovic yellow is a bit of a bummer. Were you aware of that at the time, or did you see that after? Because yeah, it was pretty meltdown on Twitter when that happened.
I saw it. Yeah, I don't think I watched that game. I don't think I watched it live.
I think we all watched that, weren't you?
Yeah, maybe I just saw it pop up on Twitter, and I was like, "It was going to happen, wasn't it? It was bound to happen." So, yeah, I mean, apart from the Shaw one, that was pretty poor week, really. So yeah, the fact they got a green arrow and is slightly above average, I was pleased with because I got red arrow. Sorry, got a small red, didn't I? But yeah, we're still with Kepa to play, so maybe it will be probably still a small red. Yeah, I think my mistake, obviously, I benched White in hindsight. Yeah, I don't know, that game though, she's been goals all over the place. It was one of those frustrating ones where it's like I didn't want it to be 0-0, but then because I benched White, then I got Trippier, so it was difficult. But yeah, Shaw was pretty much the only highlight I think last week so far, apart from Rashford. But I guess everyone's got him now. So
a 15-point highlight, yeah. I mean, that's if it was a small red, yeah, I'm quite surprised that saved it from being a lot worse. Mine was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, did you think Haaland was the right captain? I guess you were pretty happy when Mitrovic went from 9 to 5 and then didn't get the second game because Haaland was still to play the next day. But then now, how are you feeling?
Well, would have been better to give someone else, but yeah, Rashford would have been a great pick, but I don't know. I probably never really considered taking it off Haaland. I don't think so. It's one of them. Just accept it, don't you? It was quite. He didn't do much in that game. I don't think, did he? It was quite a quiet performance from him.
Yeah, I'm a bit miffed by my thought process with it. I think, 3 points has turned out to be better and not by much, but it's one of those where don't quite know why I went Haaland. Yeah, the yellow card was obviously a worry, but I think there was only, I think people were saying like 30 to 40% chance of that. So you got 60-70% chance of a second game. Yeah, Haaland could have outscored him in one game, but 2 bites of the cherry. The fixtures went too bad. Mitrovic is still a talisman. You say all that out loud, I'm still a bit miffed I went Haaland, so I think I got away with that a little bit. Only 3-point swing.
Yeah, it's just fear, isn't it? Fear if he goes off and you haven't got him.
Yeah, a bit, but yeah, definitely one of those where last season I was trying to do that, and yeah, even if it's a 200% captain, sometimes you have to go against it. Otherwise, you play the game a bit fearless, but then you can't really climb or do very well. And some of these weeks we've got to be a bit differential, tricky.
True.
And yeah, we were talking before we came on about you. I mean, you still having a decent season, 120k there, your rank, but you were 20, just inside the top 20k in Gameweek 11. I'm not sure if you had you on too much since then. What was the difference there from then until through World Cup and now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just missed a few of the key players. Like what we said, Almiron, didn't have Almiron before the World Cup, didn't have Castagna and Ward, and I think I did get Foden and he did nothing, which then I've still got Foden and he's still doing nothing. So it's like I haven't learned my lesson there either. But yeah, I think I just missed a few of the players and had a couple of really poor weeks, 13, 14, and then yeah, apart from that, it's been okay. But yeah, I mean, slipped back as on top 100 again. So I keep getting in and getting out again, and yeah, been a bit disappointing because it started quite well, and then yeah, around 10, 11, 12, it was going well, but
yeah,
it's very competitive, isn't it? If you're off a couple of players at the top, then you're tumbling down the ranks, even though you think you've got a decent-ish week. And then a couple of them, I had Reds, and I was like, oh blimey, I thought I had a decent week, but yeah, obviously not.
What did we say? It was Gameweek 11 was your high point, because it was Gameweek 12 where there was the blank, the Arsenal blank, and that threw us a little bit. I know Nick and I were saying we probably focused a bit too much on that, and then I think Arsenal kept like 4 clean sheets out of 5 afterwards, didn't they? And everyone sort of jumped off them. That was another one.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 11 was, well, apart from Gameweek 2, 11 was my highest rank. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that was the one before the blank. So yeah, tricky. And my season's been going the same way, slowly downhill since then. Speaking of which, I am on 43, so 8 behind you. The pretty much only difference, albeit quite a big one, was I had White and you had Shaw, but I used one of my 2 transfers, so I got 2 in the bank this week. Did Martial to Mitro. I was also a bit worried about that, and that was 1 point wrong. Martial did outscore Darwin, so I should have done the other way round, and definitely in a way jealous of you ditching Darwin. At least you've made your bed with that one. I've got a decision to make this week on that. Pretty happy with the 0-0 coming off with White and Trippier, although I still think Newcastle's EO was near 100, so it just didn't hurt this week rather than actually hurting on previous weeks. Still got Andreas to go, which we were talking before. You've gone the 3-5-2 route, and I'm on the 3-4-3, so at least Andreas has got that out of the game. Hopefully he can do something. Most people have got Kepa, I think. And but yeah, my bench is looking pretty weak, so for sure defensive reinforcements are needed because I've got James and Patterson. Just looking at the scores there, if there's anything else we haven't sort of mentioned. I mean, Brighton, they've not got a double coming up, but their form's been crazy. 4-1 against Everton. And Brentford as well, that Friday game, sort of forgot about that, but people are thinking about keeping Darwin because of his great stats, but Liverpool are not looking great. That's another defeat for them. And yeah, as we speak, it's still Southampton are beating City 2-0, so City are quite out sorts. So it's just adding to the complexity this week. There's quite a lot to get through.
Yeah, definitely. I was just looking at your ranks actually as well, but we've had pretty we've been pretty together in terms of points for the last maybe like 10 weeks, haven't we? And you edged ahead of me, and then I've edged back after the World Cup, but it seems to be about 10, 15, 20 points apart.
Yeah, I mean the title of the episode is highlighting how just one decision though can really change it. And I know, 15 points isn't going to change the season, but that was pretty massive. And I was close to bringing in Shaw last week, and it's I almost did it not to have the bench and headache. I mean, if you look at that, I should have benched Cancelo. Was I really ever going to bench Cancelo? Ever? Okay, seemed to be out of form now, but it wasn't clear in the last game. But maybe some of those gutsy decisions you've got to go for and just go for Shaw. And 3 clean sheets out of 3. just thinking, why did I not get him after the World Cup? But it was the whole England thing. People weren't sure whether Kane was going to come straight back. Same with Shaw. He's been playing all those games. But
yeah,
United
I think United have really turned their season around as well, haven't they? Like, we probably want to have a look at them post World Cup, and then now, yeah, obviously, Rashford and Shaw are great assets, but 3 weeks ago they probably weren't that good. Well, they didn't.
Not clear at least, because their double, the centre back partnership wasn't clear. Like Martinez and Varane had gone deep in the World Cup, so they weren't going to play, but they had set up the fixtures, and it's turned out well for them.
Yeah.
So we'll have a quick look at the fixtures now, just to digest a few bits, maybe a few talking points, and then we'll really thought about the order. Let's do the ticker and then a few of the questions, and then we'll come to our teams. So I've updated this a little bit since I chucked it on Twitter, because a few things have changed with anyone on Twitter's probably seen. Obviously, Ben Crellin's been really busy, and Mikel Tokfam with this whole how likely are teams to double and blank in certain weeks. So the summary is that obviously there's doubles this week for 4 teams. Next week there's a chance of some doubles, but not confirmed yet. And it's one where we think some of those might be confirmed by the deadline this week. So if you're not going to get priced out of anything, my recommendation would be to wait until Friday. I think it's a Friday deadline this week, right?
Yeah, it's Friday, 6:30. Yeah.
6:30 UK time. Okay.
UK time, yeah.
And then 22 could be a double for 2 teams. Most importantly, United might have Palace at home and Leeds at home, which would be really tasty. And then 23 is definitely a double. And then the next interesting is that 25 might be a small blank, where the most likely teams to blank are Bournemouth and City, interestingly. So there's a few things coming up, and 28 is going to be a big blank. So this has United first in terms of ranking, Liverpool second, City third. So it's maybe not surprising on those fronts, but Brighton fourth. That's quite interesting, and Brentford fifth. So I know again the why we're talking about everyone's jumping on, which City assets to get, and Spurs are doubling. It's all quite exciting there with doublers, but Brentford and Brighton are sitting there, especially Brentford this week with Bournemouth fixture with some pretty good ones. So if anyone needs a neighbour, people like Matoma or Visser or someone might be quite good. But yeah, they probably not really cross my mind too much unless you're going to go late riser crazy with -12 or something.
Or if that double does get confirmed, then yeah, for Brighton that looks interesting.
Brighton next week, yeah, Leicester away and Palace at home could be quite good, and then Bournemouth straight after, yeah, really good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then defensive is probably the same sort of order. City are top still, despite their indifferent form. United second, Liverpool third, and Brighton, then Arsenal. Arsenal got that double in 23, so there's certainly some good teams with doubles. So with that, let's maybe go through these, and then we'll talk about our teams at the end. So blanks upcoming. I think it's difficult maybe to digest more than just the players you've maybe until they're confirmed. Maybe you can't really do too much planning. I mean, were you aware of the teams likely to blank? I think you've got Solanke from Bournemouth, right? And everyone's got City, but I guess that's not really coming to your thinking.
Yeah. I guess 25. I'm not worried about 25 at the moment, but yeah, maybe I should have been. But yeah, I think it's time to change it still. So yeah, I mean, City. I guess we'll come on to City assets at the moment. It's tricky to predict. So I'm partially thinking of just getting rid of some. Obviously not on the double, but yeah, what to do with the City assets is a big thing on my mind this week.
Yeah, and I think that 25 is so uncertain, and I've fallen into the trap before of planning too far ahead until and until it's maybe 3 or 4 game weeks. Unless it's a huge blank, and you think, I might try and avoid the free hit. I think not to worry. Secondly, 21 and 22 likely doubles. So yeah, any of those particularly catch your eye, or you've got any that you really wish would come in? I mean, you've got Salah, right? So
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but more than likely he's going this week, I reckon, to make funds for a doubler. So, or KDB or Kane, basically. So, I probably won't have Salah. Which if they did then confirm the double, that would put a bit of a spanner in the works, to be honest. But I don't know if I can get. I don't think I can get to someone like a Kane without selling Salah. So, yeah, that's gonna make it tricky. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't come off really, so I don't have to make the decision.
Yeah, and at the moment, are you leaning to? So you're a Salah owner, but not a De Bruyne or a Kane owner, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And which one are you leaning to getting?
Both.
If you had to get okay, but which do you see as most important?
I think Kane, only because I just think City have been so streaky, and yes, KDB is the best. My problem with bringing KDB is bring KDB in for hit. I've already got Foden, which is obviously a mistake, and in fact he's playing tonight is not good news. But to bring KDB in for a hit, I'm struggling with that one just because you might as well just get benched next game as well by Pep. You never know, do you? So, yeah, I sure wish I had KDB instead of Foden right now. Although the last 2 weeks hasn't hurt me at all.
Yeah, it's been terrible since
really.
the World Cup.
It's been a couple of points difference, which I got away with it really for that one. But yeah, a big part of my thinking is how much do I want KDB? If I want KDB and Kane, I've got to take -8 or something. So that's the thought really.
I think I'm the other way around. I don't know whether that's being a De Bruyne owner makes more likely. I think I'm more worried about De Bruyne. If I was a non-owner, I'd be more worried about De Bruyne than Kane. I know Kane's form has been insane, but just going on those fixtures, I mean, Arsenal, City, they're the hardest fixtures. I know Kane's the talisman and streaky, but
yeah,
I don't know. Is he really going to bang in those? And you've got the yellow card risk, which is only for the Arsenal game, isn't it? If he gets through that, then he won't get suspended, say, for the Fulham game, which is quite good. But I don't know, Fulham at Craven Cottage, is that a great game? And Leicester coming up, there's not. And they've got City in between. So 3 out of the next 4 are tricky fixtures. I'm not sure. I am still considering Kane, but I think that's maybe a bit of a covering the yayo and covering the fear. And he's had such a good season. It'll be one of those where if you get through the season not owning him, you're a bit like, well, what the hell am I doing? This is a great time to get him in, surely.
Yeah, and I think it's just that. Yeah, I feel like I've got all the wrong City assets, but I've got some City assets. I'm kind of like, I've got nothing. Got nothing from Spurs. Yeah, I don't know. It's really tricky. I've got 2 days to basically decide what to do, and that's there's a lot of things circling in my head at the moment. But
yeah, it'd be good if all of this was sort of fall into place a week before the deadline, but it's all gonna fall into place tomorrow, and then Friday deadline doesn't help. It's going to be pretty mad one on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, I think Kane is a steady Eddie, isn't he? I think he'll get at least a return in those 2 games. But is it worth a hit to get him in for possibly a return? Don't know, but I've basically not owned him all season, and every week he just sticks a pen in or does something, doesn't he? So and City have not looked great at the back either. So
true.
Yeah, they're not saying it's gonna they're gonna batter City. I don't think they will, but I think there's goals there possibly.
It's true. You could look at those fixtures and say, well, there's obviously chances in goals for any of them with him on pens and stuff in the talisman. But the Northern Derby is going to be well up for that. Arsenal are good, but Tottenham will be up for it. And then City, they're not going to rest anybody. They beat them twice last season. City have been indifferent. So although they're red on the ticker, you can see both of them having, there's something to play for sure, isn't there? Both are going to be highly charged games.
Yeah.
So
and he's going to play, and I think that's the thing at the moment. I just feel like I'm getting burned left, right, and centre from City assets, and you're like, well, at least with Kane, he's going to play both games. He's probably going to be on the pitch for 90 minutes or close to, unless they're winning. So that is comforting to not have to worry about that, basically.
True. And you'd like to think if there was any kind of professional person to not get a yellow card, it's going to be in his mind. He's going to think, I don't want to get booked. Whereas I'm sure Mitrovic didn't want to, but he was apparently repeated fouling, and that was maybe a bit more likely to happen. He's a bit more petulant.
He fancied a week on the beach.
Yeah. So just looking at your team before we go on to the next one, City assets. Okay, so you're a Cancelo, Foden, and Haaland owner. Okay, so City assets. How worried are you not at the moment with KDB, Mahrez, say, and if you had to go with a defender, what were you thinking? What's your Cancelo thoughts?
Cancelo is bad, but I've got so many other problems. And people say go to John Stones, but you're like, really? Are we going to John Stones? I mean,
he's not in the squad tonight as well, actually. So there's chat that he's maybe got a knock.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Just to add something else that happened pre the Southampton game.
But they've got United and Spurs again. Are they going to keep many clean sheets? I mean, part of me thinks ditch. If I could make the funds go, I'll just ditch ditch Cancelo and not replace him with another City defender.
Mm.
It has been in my mind to do that and then get KDB and Foden. That was something I thought about, but then I don't think I've got enough funds to do that and get to Kane. So yeah, I'd have to do like a -12 or something if I did that. So I think I'm most likely to probably just leave Cancelo and just accept my punishment. He's got a double. Maybe I'll do something in one of the games. Is it worth -4 to get rid of him at this point? I don't think it is. So yeah, I think having another defender, I'm not prioritizing that over having the right midfielders or strikers. I think
that's fair. I mean, you got White on the bench this week. It wouldn't be a disaster to play White if you had to. And you got Bueno as bench cover. You're not like you're unlikely to field 10 or something. So
yeah,
you could just use Cancelo say as a cash cow if you had to. But yeah, that probably would be the -12, which is maybe a bit mad.
I think I worked it out. If I did all the transfers today and I did Cancelo down to a 4.0. No, I don't think that still works actually, because I think that was with. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I'm very tight on funds basically to get. I don't think I can get a Botman or that kind of level of defender. If I could do that, I'd probably just do that.
Yeah, that'd be good. So you couldn't do something like Salah to De Bruyne, Foden to Mahrez. Oh no, hang on, you need Kane. Sorry. Salah to De Bruyne, yeah. Kane from Solanke, Cancelo down to a 4 mil's not enough.
I definitely can't do it from Solanke.
Okay.
Maybe I can do it from Mitrovic. I was just checking that.
So I've been playing White, and maybe it wouldn't be too bad. But you are taking out Cancelo for a double, which, I mean, after tonight, he's still on the pitch. I think they're 3-0 down now. Oh no, it's been disallowed. So it's maybe a bit less risky. But yeah, so many combinations this week, especially with the -8.
Yeah, I could do Botman, Salah, De Bruyne, and Kane in for -8, but I can't do it from Solanke, but I can do it from Mitrovic.
Okay.
But only by, I think, is that by 0.1 as well? That's annoying, isn't it? That's annoying.
Out by 0.1?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just check. Yeah, from Solanke to Kane and 0.1 price. So I could go to a 4.3 defender if I could find. But taking out Cancelo when there is a double, that just
that's scary. And it probably wouldn't be for a doubler if it was if Darlow was 4.3 or I mean a Palace defender. Not even sure they exist, but at least you could think, well, I'm going to get 2 bites of that. Doherty's not 4.3 or below, is he? Yeah, it's tricky.
I need to have a think about it, but there's not an obvious move there. And then I guess the benching headache as well, isn't it? I guess Almiron on the bench probably, or Martinelli. He wouldn't bench Martinelli. That's the problem. That's the problem with my structure at the moment. I went kind of, I guess 3-5-2 with Solanke as like a conservative. So I was like, well, I can play 3-4-3 if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I didn't really commit to it, but so I kind of had that there. And now that's the main thing about the -8 is probably to undo that and move back to more of a 3-4-3.
But then if you're going to take hits, now's the week to do it. And if you're going to do a big restructure and go with like Threemium, then you can sort of hide it behind a -8.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So United assets, you've already got Shaw, so you're pretty happy. Are you thinking of getting anything more than him and Rashford?
I did think about getting Bruno Fernandes, actually. That was one of my things that I think for a -4, I could just do Salah, Bruno.
Yeah, that's the second option.
And then was that Mitrovic to...
Yeah, Mitrovic to Kane and Salah to Bruno.
Yeah, exactly. Which I did quite like that because, I don't know, he hasn't done too much yet, but he's a little bit differential, isn't it? But that does mean keeping Foden, which I'm not sure I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I agree. I think Shaw and Rashford are almost essential this week, and for sure I'll be getting Shaw, and I think he's rising tonight. I'm half tempted to get him, but I'd have to decide who to get him for. And to be honest, 3 out of my 5 defenders I could ditch for him, could conceivably get rid of Cancelo. Definitely my 2 injured defenders for sure. So I probably won't bite that now, but it's a bit annoying. It would be useful to go early. But yeah, the others, Martial, Bruno, Darlow, who might have a knock from last night. I'm not sure if it's essential to have 3. They might have this double in 22, but even so, I think having the 2 main ones is enough.
Yeah, I think the only United asset randomly just when I looked at restructuring my team, rather than going to Andreas, I could go to Casemiro, and he's popped up with a couple of assists, hasn't he, in the last few weeks and things like that. So that was one thing. But then I'd have to obviously play him in a double and bench one of Almiron, Mitrovic. You're like, is that sensible to play a CDM? But he's got a double, I guess it is. But that gives me a benching headache if I went for someone like that.
Yeah, well, maybe you. Well, I don't know. I mean, my immediate thought there is to take that away from your choice and don't have Casemiro and have Mitoma or something. But then, at least with Casemiro, you have him for the other double if it comes in, and you.
Yes, that's the reason I looked at him really is for having because if they do double, well, not double, but double in a few weeks, then that is.
But then actually going to have a benching headache that week. I think Newcastle have got West Ham, Martinelli's got Everton. Not sure who you bench in that one. So I think actually it creates 2 benching headaches for you.
Yeah, Fulham have got Forest. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's kind of asking for it really, but it's that will go completely left wing, go for someone like Elise from Palace and just 5.4. I think I can just wait to get to him, stick him in there, and just be like, let's go.
Yeah, it's not the worst one. Chelsea and United, yeah. Palace, as we know, they love these harder fixtures. It could happen.
Yeah, I mean, that still gives a benching headache. Yeah.
I mean, they're on the list here. Yeah, someone that's got Zaha, I guess you're not ditching, but I guess you wouldn't be going out of your way to get Palace unless it's an enabler like that just fits in and it's a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Come back to triple captain at the end. I've done these in a stupid order. Tottenham assets, just finish off the doublers. Yeah, Kane, you sound pretty warm on. What about Doherty or Perisic?
No, that's just got pain written all over, hasn't it? I think Doherty and Perisic, and they're not easy games defensively, are they? I think Kane is the only one that I'm really considering from Spurs if I get any at all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent on Kane. This conversation has made me a bit more likely to do it. I do want to almost kind of cover that, and the fixtures are going forward okay. It does lock you into freemium though, which maybe is a bit tricky. But then, I mean, just looking at potential transfers next week, I think anyone with De Bruyne, if Liverpool get this double, is just going to jump back to Salah, say. It's Chelsea at home and away, which is interesting. But, that could be better than Haaland. So I think Salah is almost essential next week if they double. So maybe that transfer is kind of locked in. So, maybe having that freemium isn't too, as long as you've got the money to do, maybe 0.2 for De Bruyne to Salah, then you're not going to be thinking, I want to get rid of Kane because I've got to move all that money around. Your sort of transfers are locked in for at least a game week after that.
I think it's a bit more, isn't it, Salah? I think he's 12.4. I think it is now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's enough.
But that is definitely. It can, if I got 0.0 with KDB, I'd be sick next week when I can go back to Salah if they do double. So that is a good point. Whatever I should do, I should leave half a million in the bank. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'm warming a bit to Doherty and Perisic because if I get rid of Cancelo and Stones is out and there isn't an obvious City replacement, then maybe it is worth a gamble on Spurs. I've got some of my moves on the slide, but one of the options is to get rid of 2 defenders of my 5. One of them's got to be Shaw, and one of them, then what do I do if it's not Stones because he's injured? And what will it be? Akanji and Laporte are injury worries, or they're coming back, not maybe first team. Then what do I do? Maybe that is worth a roll of the dice on Doherty or Perisic, but yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, but then are you going to be playing 4 at the back, or have you got them decide bench?
I'd bench White, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't mind that too much. It is okay to play him, and if I, did only a -4 or just made 2 transfers and I play White, that's fine. But yeah, a few people might be thinking, I want to roll the dice in defence, so Spurs could be an option. But Arsenal at home, City away, it's only likely going to be one clean sheet max, isn't it? But then Doherty, you're partly buying in for attacking points as you are Perisic, so something could come in.
Yeah.
All right, and then just finally on these talking points, triple captain, where are you with that?
I'm 60-40 against playing it at the moment, so not to play it, but I don't know what I'm waiting for really. I always get it wrong. So I think last season I didn't play it on Salah when he had 28, 29, whatever it was, yeah, and I didn't. I think I did something else. So yeah, that was, and I was just sick, to be honest. So yeah, part of me thinks I should just play it and get out of the way, but I don't know. I'm kind of hoping for better fixtures. Yeah, and who's to say he's gonna? I mean, I know there's 5 days between the games, and Alvarez played tonight, didn't he, and stuff. So probably he's going to play at least the next one, and probably play both. But still, that rotation chance, isn't it? But then that's true of any double game week. So maybe I should just play it and get out of the way.
Yeah, I think I'm probably 55-45 not playing it. It's still 2-0. Haaland has come on, but not the big guns coming on. De Bruyne hasn't done it. But I'm swaying in so many ways. Yeah, there's so much in there, isn't there? Like you say, the rough chat is if you don't play it this week or in 23, you're gambling on things happening that we just can't be sure of. Whereas at the moment, 20 and 23 are definites. You know the fixture schedule. There's a bit more congestion in 23, but the fixtures are a bit better. They've got your boys, obviously, Villa, and you'd say that's a bit of an easier game than what they've got this week. But Haaland's definitely going to play these games. They're important games. They're not going to rotate probably. But then, as of tonight, City are also really out of form. So that is swaying me a little bit to not playing it. Not because I think there's a necessarily better opportunity. I just don't think this is the week to play it on him. And maybe I'd love it to be on Haaland, but maybe it needs to go on a Salah or even a Blimmin. Maybe something random like a Matoma is going to come up and some form's going to hit, or I don't know, a Newcastle defender soon is going to just be still incredible when the double comes in. So, but yes, it's really tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting. The City are so out of form that they are, and does that sway me not to break the bank to get KDB? Don't know. The fact that he's come on 45 minutes and done nothing makes you think. I mean, he's been at. Although of the recent games, he has looked, there's been flashes where he looks like he would contribute to something and they haven't finished it off or whatever. But
yeah, and to be fair, Haaland, I think his XG since the World Cup's been like 3.5 or something, and he scored 3 or involvement of 3, so he's been okay, but he's not been that electric form at the start of the season. And City don't look like blowing teams away; they're a bit more conservative, aren't they? So yeah, see where we're on Friday, but a few things to consider there for anyone tempted to triple. His ownership is probably going to be like 220, 230, people think. So if you don't triple captain him, you're going to want him to keep quiet.
Yeah.
So this is your team for next week. 1 free transfer, 2.8 in the bank, and I put in a few of the options you sent me over. Well, you sent me sort of 2, and I chucked them in to rate my team and compared it with doing nothing. Doing nothing would give you 391.9 points over the next 5 weeks. Doing the -4 only improves it a bit, but actually doing the -8 makes things a lot worse. So I pick the bones out of that.
And does the 382 doesn't include the -8, so that'd be effective.
No, it does. It does include it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Interesting.
So it's interesting that things the -4 will instantly pay off with 0.1 point, but it likes that a lot more than the -8. I mean, I guess I don't really know what it doesn't like about the -8. Maybe it likes Foden or the depth of Solanke that he gives you. But in a way, also, it doesn't really particularly like either of them because it says that rolling is almost as good.
So what you're telling me is that all my ideas are bad.
Yeah, you need to go back to the drawing board.
I'll just wildcard. That's what I'll do. Just throw that in there.
People have said, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. I mean, so is this for how many weeks going forward?
5, up to and including 25, I think it was. Yeah.
I wonder if that's thinking about the Salah double or something. Is it thinking?
Maybe. Yeah, could be. That's true, actually. I should have maybe done it for just this week and what the immediate return is. Because, yeah, true. It maybe doesn't like taking out Salah at all. I don't know. I mean, people with Foden, I think a lot of people are thinking about Mahrez. Could you... Is that just have you experience with him a bit like me? I'm just not sure I can go back there.
You used to love him, didn't you? You used to always have Mahrez, and everyone was like, "Why have you got Mahrez?" But then he occasionally would just absolutely have a
I'd always
crazy
get him
game.
after he got the 20-pointer. I'm definitely getting on the back of a 20-pointer. If it's someone like Mahrez that is explosive and he's got pens even though he's terrible at them, you get on it, and then Pep does a Pep and doesn't play him after bigging him up, of course.
Yeah,
so it could all go wrong.
It's interesting that he hasn't played tonight. I mean, that is interesting. And Foden's played 90. I mean, that, yeah, makes me think Foden definitely ain't starting the next two. So I think I do need to ship him out. But I don't know. Going from Foden to Mahrez, it's just like just
Good for cash, though, isn't it?
More punishment, aren't you?
Yeah. I wonder if that would mean that you wouldn't have to sell Salah. You wouldn't have De Bruyne. You'd have 3 million with Kane. But maybe that's a bit less painful. But I don't know. Then you've got to have no De Bruyne.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not really considering Mahrez. I don't know.
No, fair enough. A lot of people are saying that they just can't entertain it just because of previous experience. It's such a divisive person. Well, after this, I'll chuck into RMT what the immediate game week would be for those, because you'd think surely those moves would. I don't know, would they pay off in 1 week? I suppose the second one you're getting an extra fixture with Bruno, but you've got to make that back with a -4.
Yeah.
This one you're removing all singlers, let's say, because Foden's unlikely to play, and bringing in 3 doublers. So I think that one would be pretty close to paying off. So yeah, maybe over 5 game weeks wasn't that helpful.
Yeah. Well, no, it's interesting though, isn't it? Do nothing, which I mean, every time I make a transfer, I make it worse. So maybe I should do nothing. But I think that the part of me thinks in a double you've got to take a risk, and then if he doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. But if it does come, if it does come off, then you'll be obviously laughing. I don't know. I think, particularly if I do think about restructuring the team, which is what I'm thinking about, then that is a way of doing it, like you said. So yeah. I think I'll just sleep easier at night knowing I've got KDB, Kane, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'll be less stressed about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't get Casemiro then.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a but like you say, whoever you bring in, you then got a benching headache if it's someone with a good fixture, or do you just go Andreas for? I mean, not that much cheaper, is he? What's Casemiro at 4.8 or something?
4.9, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing about Andreas is I should have bought. If I was going to do that, I should have bought him in last week, obviously, and took the -4 last week and got the extra game this week, which I didn't do. So part of me thinks I should go for someone with a double.
Yeah, I suppose. But then if that double means you are benching someone like a Martinelli who might go off in any game, is it worth it? That's why I'm looking at Thomas better and hope that next week comes in as a double.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely hold and wait for news.
Yeah, and Matoma's got that great 22 fixture as well. He's got a few good ones coming up. Bournemouth and 22. But I think we already said though you'd already got some good fixtures in that one, so that maybe doesn't help.
So that's like 2 weeks away. I'll have changed the team by then.
Well, guard deployed.
Hope not.
So I think there's even more permutations with mine. So I've got 2 free transfers, so I can move in a few more directions. I don't have Shaw, so he's almost definitely coming in. So I put in again into rate my team over the next 5 game weeks. Rolling my benchmark is about 395. If I just did James to Shaw, I'm reading these from bottom to top, not very helpfully, would give me a small boost, which I'm a bit surprised at again, because I just thought that's such a no-brainer transfer. I'm removing James, but I think RMT's got James coming back in a few weeks, so maybe it's why it doesn't massively swing for that one. But then it quite likes both my -4s, which is they're exactly the same, except one's removing Mitrovic and one's removing Darwin. Get rid of James and Cancelo as well. Cancelo's, minutes risk, we think, and bring in Kane, Shaw, and Stones. Stones could probably have to change it, whoever, but I just still chucked him in. So it likes removing Mitrovic more, which seems to be the Twitter, other podcasts kind of way to go. Everyone's thinking, Darwin, although he's a pain in the ass, he's got ridiculous stats, and Liverpool in attack at least are looking quite potent. But I bought Mitrovic in last week. Obviously didn't captain partly for the long term, kind of, just set and forget. He's on pen. He's just going to keep ticking over. So to remove him straight away would be a bit annoying. He hasn't got the greatest fixtures. I mean, Newcastle away is not easy, and it's maybe a really good one starting 23. So maybe I'd have to get him back around them. But I don't love that. But then Liverpool might have a double next week. Their ticker is better. Their stats are definitely better than Fulham's. But then Darwin is not the talisman. He's not on pens. Everything goes through Mitrovic. So if I do that, that will be a tricky decision. I would love just to get rid of Darwin and just not have to worry about it and just laugh when he keeps missing. But part of me is thinking, he's about to go off. He could do something. How do you see that in the Brighton game? Yeah. Have you been watching it? Because he's got that great shin in the cup, and everyone's saying, oh, that's going to do great for his confidence, which it will. But how do you see it?
Yeah, I think the fact they might double and on those fixtures, I'd maybe give him another week. Or see, definitely if they get a confirmed double, definitely sell Mitrovic. I don't know. I'd like to think he's going to be he's going to suddenly turn it on, but I don't know. I think also is he just going to be another flop?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And if you don't sell him this week and they double, you can't then for a bit. And Mitrovic has got, I suppose he hasn't got the greatest fixtures there either, so you're not going to miss him too much. But I suppose one of my biggest fears this week is if we get to Friday and there's not a lot of news on, say, the 21 doubles, that'd be really helpful to come in. Stones news is vague. Maybe the Darlow news is vague for people that bought him in. There could just be a lot of annoying non-certainty.
Yeah, exactly. And Mitrovic, he does score against kind of anyone really. He doesn't really have a. And Chelsea
Fulham just attack all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean Newcastle good defense. Spurs not that amazing. Chelsea not that great. So you could easily get a couple of returns in the next 3 weeks, couldn't he? But I think I don't know. I agree. Darwin, he could be close to something. Could also be close to a red card. You just never quite know, do you? So.
True. And structurally, if I kept Darwin, that is a lot of money in attack. I've got Threemium and I've got a ridiculous front line, which I haven't looked how much money that leaves. Actually, I'd have to check the De Bruyne and Salah thing. If that doesn't leave enough, actually, that could sway it for me. But that would be a very lopsided team as well.
Yeah, but pretty good. That'd be pretty solid, wouldn't it?
It would be pretty exciting. Nice lopsided is okay, bad sometimes, but then since the World Cup, people with Kane and Haaland up front have absolutely smashed it. So sometimes it works.
Yeah, I like the 3-4-3. I think the mids on paper look really good, but I just haven't got any of the right ones. I think the only thing that keeps me onto my 3-5-2 is thinking maybe getting Saka in a few weeks or something, or in that.
That 3-5-2 means double Arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah, having 3-5-2 means I can do that more easily, probably. But that's my only thought, really. But I mean, I think for your team, I like if you could afford to keep Darwin, I would do that. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
If the double comes in, if the double doesn't come in, I think it's a bit of a toss of a coin, isn't it? But probably, I don't know. Probably keep Darwin. I don't know. I sold him last week for Mitrovic, so what do I know? But
yeah, that's another one of those 50-50. So I'll see how I feel on Friday. Hopefully there's some concrete news to sway either way.
Yeah.
Right, we're nearly 44 minutes into the 30-minute podcast, so we should probably wrap it up. Anything else from you, Tom? Any other topics to go through?
I don't think so. I'm going to go into make some more drafts, I think.
Yeah, there's so many
I'll
options.
Probably go back to -12.
Yeah, come back. Tell me tomorrow what your -12 is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least a -8.
It's pretty exciting.
I think it's one of them. Just got to feel like I'll go for it. I feel, if I don't like the team, I just need to change it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good to do a reset. And with doubles, it's more likely to pay back, isn't it? So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much for watching and listening, everyone. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe. And good luck with the game weeks. Speak soon. Bye.
Cheers all. Best of luck.